And we're getting ready now for the final match on the show court of the day. It's been a busy day, one heck of a day. This is a day 1 of 5 of the New Zealand Secondary Schools Volleyball Championship. We'll go through the teams of these two schools. Firstly, we have Burnside High School, and Burnside are in the green. And we have Mount Maunganui College boys, and they are in the black with the red trim. Let's start with Mount Maunganui and the numbers. Number 6, Nixon Panapa. Number 4, Jeremy Few, he's the captain. Number 12, Carter Hopoi, you'll see him at number 12 there, the tall player. Around about 6'6", 6'7", and as we were told, he's only been playing volleyball for 2 years. Quite likes it. Number 1, Max Kelly. 3 is Owen Reeves. Number 5, Ira Tale. Number 9, Junior Silau. 7, well, that's Kingston Harris, and number 2 is Awatia Tamaki. And as we look at this first point, just wait for this. Oh, that's somehow brought back into the court. Bit of power there. This is one heck of a good rally. And still going. Warren Smith, I'll bring you into this, and we'll go through the Burnside team in a minute. And what do you think about that as a first?
Yeah, that's a fantastic first rally. Both of these teams obviously here to play. Last game of the day. Might as well use all of your energy now, which is great. Good rivalry too between these two schools. Burnside High School out of Christchurch, been one of the more dominant schools in that region for a while now. And obviously with Mount Maunganui College as an up-and-coming school in the Bay of Plenty, over the last couple of years has produced a number of national team players of really good quality. So yeah, we're looking forward to this match. Actually, this is going to be quite the doozy, I would imagine.
What about number 12 here? And Hopoi and Kara Hopoi, as Bjorn Kerekere said to me, he's only really just started playing, and he's about 6'6". Last year he was 6'6", and he's probably even taller now.
That's right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a bit of length. Yeah. He's one of these kids who obviously, when they come into the sport at the age that he is now, if he decides he wants to take it somewhere, he certainly can. Height is such a huge advantage, particularly if he wants to go and play overseas.
But head and shoulders above the height above everybody else. It's 6'6", 6'7". What's it, about 195 or?
Yeah, he's about 198, nearly 2 metres tall. Yeah. So yeah, put the man bun on top of that, and he's probably a good 6'8".
Exactly.
And look, on the other side, on the Burnside team, there's a young fella there named Thomas Vesti. He's the current under-20s national team setter, and looking at this stage in 2024 to head away to the Asian Championships with the national team. He's a real standout player for Burnside, has been for a couple of years now as well. He will in fact go into the senior men's team at the Shirley Volleyball Club this year and play for them in their A squad.
Have a look at all the team numbers. There's certainly some big numbers on the chest there. Burnside High School, we've got number 72 is James Barker McMillan, 62 Ollie Barker McMillan, 77 we've got listed Hugo Fong, and 71 Ryan Huang, 55 is Esther Kolha, 92 Azriel Maliotoa, and 69 Finn Matheson, 88 Joshua Siwaba, I think it is, and Thomas Vesti, 79, and Matai Hughes Apulu. And the team officials, the coach is Toby Gardner, and the manager Claire Barker. Toby Gardner as coach, you know much about him? Yeah,
Toby's a young player who's now quite involved, obviously, with the Burnside team, and he's as a player played at 1 Division 2 this year in his own club national championships, which was great. So he's one of these guys that we're really looking to bring through the coaching ranks, and these are perfect experiences for him.
Okay, Kingston Harris about to serve now for the Mount.
But I have to give a special shout out to Brendan Ray Horlock, who is the coach for the Mount Maunganui team. One of the real gentlemen of our game. Been around for many years, supported, encouraged, mentored an incredible amount of players in his tenure. Mount Maunganui College wouldn't be the same without his tutelage and his support. An absolute gentleman of the game.
See him there on the sideline to everybody's right. it's only early stages, but both teams seem very well drilled.
Very well drilled, yes. In terms of their balance, looking really good actually across their ability to attack and defend. So yes, if these last couple of rallies are anything to go by, gosh, we could be here for a while, eh?
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
It's going to be very tiring as well for all the players. And let's take a look now at who's serving down there. 71, the big numbers. It's Ryan Huang. Rescues that one. Go setting it up. Some power there. That was one heck of a shot there from Thomas Festi. Plenty of power in it. And, however, it comes back, and we have this serve. Jeremy Fu, who is the captain for Maunganui. Let that block go. It went well.
Beautiful block here. And again, we've seen this whole feeling of out of teams at this early stage, just not quite sure. They haven't seen each other before, even though they'll know each other by name in terms of schools. Every year they turn up and it's a bit of a lottery as to the quality of the teams that you're facing. But traditionally, two strong schools.
Just too far. So we know that Rangitoto are the champions in both girls and boys Div 1. Who would be their main rivals? I mean, is, say, Hamilton or Hillcrest coming through in the boys, or is there a school that we should be watching out for in the boys, aside from Rangitoto?
I think inevitably, actually today is probably not the day to answer that question.
Okay.
Over the next day, tomorrow being Tuesday, we will start to see things crystallise. And I wouldn't say that there are any early runners that I've seen in terms of teams, including Rangitoto. Rangitoto are a good team.
In Rangitoto, you've got to rate up there because they're defending champs.
Yeah. And not only that, they're the defending Australian champions.
Yeah, that's right.
And so there's obviously a massive legacy there to hold together for the team. And
good coaches as well.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how this goes this year. I would say that the level has flattened out, particularly in the boys.
Stevenson was there for the girl.
Kiana.
The two of them there, they had a couple of Ks there in the schools last year.
That's right.
And a significant player to have in your team. And the whistle's gone, or
yeah, number 12 boy, unfortunately the way he set that across the net, he actually twisted, so he was what known as a throw. Yeah, unfortunately the big fellas tend to do that a little bit more than the little fellas.
Last year, the surprise to me, and I'm sure to a few people, was in the boys, Waimea going through to the final. Yes.
And again, this is schoolboy volleyball. You've got these teams that all of a sudden get on a roll. They're not necessarily the favourites. Especially when you're away from these events, you've always got some big name schools, Western Heights, Tauranga Boys, and so on, Mount Maunganui College, etc. And all of a sudden the team pops out of the woodwork and you just go, whoa, hang on a second. How
did Waimea come out of that?
How did they come out of that? And yet, of course, Waimea, traditionally one of the very, very strong schools. But it's a generational thing. All of a sudden, one group just seems to pop out. And so that's why I'm a little bit interested. And just down here to our left, unfortunately for our viewers, they won't be able to see it, that there's a game with Manurewa College playing, and I think that we've got to keep a bit of an eye on them as well. They also have an extremely tall player who is a year 11, but boy can he hit the ball. So he's one of these kids who you just look at and go, well, there's something special going on there. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Manurewa pull through this event over the course of the week.
We saw him launch up there. And using that height, get up.
It's great to see these young athletes, women and men. The National Championships itself is a massive confidence booster. They come here and they see their role models, they see others doing amazing things, and then it kind of flicks the switch in the brain to say, well, I can do that too. And so...
Well, what do you think? You safe?
Yeah, that was good. Yep, no problem. Yes, I think that's one of the things I like, and so the quality of the tournament is going to improve. after these first couple of days, things do get better as we go along.
Keeping it going. Can they get it over? Oh, just
Not quite.
I've always wondered about with volleyball indoor going to 25 because so much pressure has come on so many sports, and I've been involved in a huge number of them. Squash was one of them where it took in age just to score a point. Switching back, you had to serve, and then eventually they put the ball and said, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's serving. The point goes. Same with badminton, was similar.
Yes.
Tennis, you've got your structure, and that's okay. You can still win a game with someone else serving. But with volleyball going to 25, there must be some pressure to bring it down to 21 as well.
There could well be, but the thing is that it was probably after, it was actually, I should tell the story if I can, after the 1988 Olympics, the bronze medal match, Argentina against somebody, took 3 hours and 5 minutes. And the American broadcaster said, we can't do that. And so it wasn't that long after that then they started changing the rules from a single rally point as we would know it.
Yeah.
So you have to win the point on your serve to the 25-point system.
Which is what we've got.
Which is what we've got now, yes. And of course, it's like everything, isn't it? It's like Test cricket takes far too long. One day is now starting to take too long. T20s is the way we go.
So that's why I'm looking at volleyball, saying, would it matter much to bring it down to 21?
No, it wouldn't. No. In fact...
and I'm just thinking about the broadcasters, because as you said, having worked for those broadcasters around the world, it's like, come on, hurry up. That's enough of that. We're already going to 5. And that's the sort of thing that keeps the sport going sometimes. Just keep it. Everybody wants shorter and sharper and more tension, quicker. And
I think that volleyball is, they obviously addressed that back in the day, and they've addressed it well with beach volleyball. But the next step is to see what they do with the indoor. And unfortunately, I think indoor volleyball, what I'm seeing particularly on the World Tour, in our what's known as our Nations League, is that the actual volleyball is part of an event now. So it's not just the sport. And I think this is, again, we see it a lot in basketball. You go to watch the basketball, but then you also go to watch the fun stuff in between. And so it doesn't necessarily matter that it takes a little bit longer. The main thing is that you get more of an experience than just the sport itself.
Well, I can put that into something context for the Australian Open tennis. We've done it 25 times. You go along, there's the concert. It's like Billy Idol was singing. I think, oh, that's Billy Idol. Oh, he's old. And you go in there, then there's all these things for the kids who you can almost go and watch the match and leave the kids if you have them. Or you go to this, then there's a top restaurant, rock pool restaurant. Well, what about the tennis? Oh, no, it's over there. And so the tennis is almost forgotten in some ways.
And in our sport, what's one of the really nice, most modern iterations is these. Although we've got a lovely floor here, this is now what we call a very old generation floor. The new ones are actually video screens, and so they are entertainment all on their own.
Well, it's interesting here that you've got the 4 courts in front of us, and all of them actually do have cameras on them. And then the back end of us is almost like old school gym. Lower ceiling, there's the wood. It's so many lines on the court.
20,000 lines on the court.
Oh, I was confused as to which line we're looking at.
That's right. So are the kids, by the way.
Of course. And in the meantime, we've got a bit of a tight one here. No side really been able to take the initiative just yet, although this is certainly helping, going 17-13. Otamotai and called over for a time, no, not a timeout, just a bit of a word from the coach.
That's it. Just give him a little bit of extra direction. And this is where you'll see now, you see Toby on the other side with the yellow cap. He's doing exactly the same thing. They're now playing chess. They realise that things are getting a little bit tight, so they're just adjusting their teams to do the things that they need in and around points.
All picked up. Let's look for it. Nice play. Who's going to take it? So the good thing is for Otamotai, it doesn't have to be number 12 all the time. There's a couple of other players who can come up.
Oh, so for Mount Maunganui,
Mount Maunganui, sorry. Getting my toe on the schools there. But they do have other options.
And that's guaranteed that's exactly what the coach will be doing. He will be out now asking those different players to sort of contribute more. And the thing is, you want to give the big fella his confidence, so let him have a few swings. And at some stage along the way, it'll peter out, because obviously we all do that. And so BR, is Brendan Ray, the coach there. He'll just adjust those hitters. He'll be talking to his setters, making sure that they understand that they can't overload people.
So here we go with Ryan Huang from Burnside with the serve. Let's see the setup. She was pretty strong in the end. Who was that with the shot?
Thomas Vesti on the outside there. So he's, like I said, he's their go-to guy. He really is one of the sort of standout athletes, particularly for Burnside over the last few years. And now that he's actually become, so to speak, big and strong.
Yeah, he's actually grown into his body.
He's grown into his body. He's a real weapon now.
Nicely picked up at the back. And nope, they've gone outside the aerials.
Yes, at 19-15, Mount Maunganui are nicely ahead at this stage. I think that
That's what you'd expect.
Yeah, that's exactly what you'd expect. And the thing is that the teams like Mount Maunganui College, they come out of systems of competition where they're quite happy just to have that 3-4 point lead and they can carry it through to the end. They don't tend to drop away too heavily.
So what's Brendan Ray Horlock going to say to Mount Maunganui here?
So yeah, he'll be just saying, hey guys, just keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right track. Don't have to do anything special. At the end of the day, my observation is that the Burnside team, once they get into the longer rallies, they do okay, but they don't have the physical presence to really do a lot of damage. So the Mount Maunganui guys can stay calm on the court. They know that they'll be able to pick up the ball. They're good defenders, and that's how I'd be talking to that group at the moment, to say, yep, keep calm and carry on. With Toby, he'll be talking a lot more about, hey, we need to pick up a little bit here. We need some more urgency. We need and most importantly, a little bit more ball control around getting the ball to the setter. It's a little bit sloppy over there, which is causing their attack some problems that it doesn't need to have.
Jeremy through with the serve there for the minute, and
yeah, good response from Burnside. Good attacking response. And the good thing is Toby is a younger coach. He's going to be learning from this. He's up against a real wily operator who's been here and done that so many times before with success.
Just knocks him off his feet. Careful.
There we go.
There's no point hurting yourself for that sort of shot.
The lads love the workload though. That's good.
Yeah.
Hard luck. 20 points to 16. Mount Maunganui comfortably ahead at this stage. And again, if this was an easy game, Coach Horlock, he'd be sitting down by now. But this is not an easy game. He's got to respect his opponent and give them his due and keep making sure he's making the adjustments.
So let's have a look at the formation there of Mount Maunganui. Regular formation.
Yep. What they're doing there is they're shielding the server so that it's very hard for the passers to be able to contact what's happening with the ball.
That's great.
The only unfortunate thing about using that strategy is, yes, it might shield the ball, but then everybody knows where the ball's going. So the passes are always going to be able to be a little bit more oriented towards what's actually happening. We don't see that particular strategy much in the top end of the international game as much anymore because it really doesn't have much effect. At this level, sure, you can definitely have some effect, but not to the same extent as you get.
James Barker McMillan with the serve there for Burnside. He was calling for a let, but the shot had already been played.
The shot had already been played. And actually on that point, it was 17 points to Burnside and 18 to 20. So Burnside are kind of hanging in there, which is good. And if Thomas Vesti gets round to the service spot in time to go and towards the end of the match, he can actually swing a match on his own.
You see how way across the court they had to put that for Hokoi. It was quite a way out of the court.
Yes.
But they knew where he was going to be.
Yeah.
He's obviously calling for it, or it's a set move. Number 5, Era Tale. Very simple serve.
There we go. Very effective.
Yeah. And that's a decent point there, a freebie as such. Mount Maunganui going to 22. they've got to feel confident about wrapping it up now, albeit only 4 ahead.
I'd say so. They've just weathered a little bit of a 2-point storm, and Burnside had an opportunity there to take a bit of momentum, but they've actually lost it now. With Mount Maunganui, there we go, picking up those extra points.
And the communication.
Yeah, breaking down when it needed to be at its best. And so they'll go at him again, same guy, same pressure point.
Coming at him like a rocket.
And so at 23-19, it is going to be a bit of a tough road here, but one thing that Thomas Vesti's done, I've seen him change games simply because of his ability to serve. So we'll see whether he's got some good pressure on or not.
Okay, so this should be a good set. They knew where he was, he got the call.
Nice work by the big fella. They thought he was going to swing hard.
Yeah, they were looking for him almost on the other side, but he came around on the right-hand side and gets to serve it out.
Yes, set point to Mount Maunganui. It's been a tidy set by them, nice and controlled.
Keeps it in.
It's a great swing. It's unfortunate at this level, those little mistakes that Burnside are making are really costly. So they've done well to side out there, but it's still not particularly tidy. Mount Maunganui do not look stressed in what's happening on the court. And so Burnside, I think, let's have to say Burnside have got the work to do, got the work ahead of them. And I'll take another timeout to try and...
Fair enough.
Brendan Ray just trying to upset the rhythm of the server.
And what about if you are Burnside's coach, Toby Gardner there, what's he going to be saying?
I think at this stage it's just going to be, we're doing the right things, we're actually in this, but we've just got to tidy up on the little pieces around the edges. The little bits of fine control. As we saw there, the Mount Maunganui just targeted the one passer in that last rotation and got 2 easy points. And the thing you'd be trying to do is just trying to arrest that a little bit earlier. Otherwise, Burnside haven't played a bad set. Mount Maunganui have just been that little bit better. And that was unfortunately a strong serve, but out by Burnside, which leaves Mount Maunganui 1-0 up, 25-20.
Well, there we go, 25-20, the first set, and it goes to Mount Maunganui over Burnside. As we will come back in just a moment with the second set.
Summer Tournament 2024 from Māori Active. Find us on YouTube.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this isn't about what we wore back in the day.
we're going to go now. Going once, going twice, no more offers. Scored!
It's about being trusted to get a better result for our clients since 1973.
Funding is a real challenge. We know that a lot of schools face that ongoing, and the reality is if you go to a lower decile school in New Zealand, you are less likely to be able to afford to participate in sport.
Obviously, having come through it myself with kids and being one of those kids myself who played sport, I know how much it defined who I was. And now being able to go, I can't fix it all, but we can help and try and give to those people who are going through really tough times. It's a real privilege, but for us, we want to see others get involved with it. This is not a selfish thing for Apollo. This is about how can we get, whether it's construction or other businesses, to get involved in this.
There's a lot of things that kids miss out on, and so to have businesses step up and want to be involved and to help is a game changer for schools. It really is.
Forest should never have been taken off this steep hill country that's eroding, and it makes absolute to a forest, those hills. What we're doing here is using the exotics to help that process get established. We're looking at a managed transition process where those pines are progressively thinned as the native understory establishes. We're trying to do several things here. Soak up carbon, establish native forest, and we're trying to improve biodiversity. You're achieving an awful lot with one program of activity.
And back on for the second set, because the first, well, that was won by Mount Maunganui, 25-20 over Burnside. And Warren Smith, it kind of showed that Mount Maunganui with just that little bit, albeit 5 points, just a little bit more composed at times.
That's it. That's it. Just a little bit more competitively mature, is the way I'd put it. And they were just able to get a little bit of that lead, wait for the mistakes from their opponent, and then just cruise their way towards the end.
So people just taking their time. Where's the ball? You got a ball? Oh yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Looking around for it. No one seemed to have it there. And it is Frew who's going to be serving first.
So the big challenge for Burnside in this set is that Mount Maunganui are just going to keep on doing what they're doing. Nothing's going to change in what they're attempting, and so it's up to Burnside to be proactive and take the game away from them.
And you can see him out wide, out very, very wide.
Someone unfortunately from the Burnside has touched the net, and therefore Mount Maunganui has started away. This is the thing about especially the Bay teams and teams in Auckland in particular. They're a little bit more metronomic in the way they play compared to teams around the country that don't have the strong competitions in which to sort of do their work.
Nice little blocks.
Beautiful block, yeah, beautiful block. And unfortunately, Burnside, they lost their first game today.
That's going to be tough for them then.
That's tough, yeah.
So they're going to be pushing to actually stay up.
Yes, correct.
In Division 1. Yep. You know, if they drop this.
If they drop this game, they're done. I'd say they'll be heading into Division 2.
Oh, he's managed to bring it back in. There we go again.
Great piece of defence. The libero for Burnside
tries it again, but
it doesn't quite work that time. That's good. That's good. I like the setters. The setter for Mount Maunganui is also in the under-20 squad. Him and Thomas Vesti, number 79 from Burnside, are competing for the starting setting spot for the national squad. So this is in itself is a nice little battle. I'm absolutely sure that their national coach will be sitting here watching this with glee. It just so happens that he's the former Burnside coach.
Let's have a look now with number 65 and 65 is Amatai Hughes Apulu, and drops his left shoulder a little bit, and it's going to pull down the serve.
And it's unfortunate. It is just those little things that will make the difference in the end. And Mount Maunganui, again, they don't miss many serves. They don't necessarily put a whole lot of pressure on and then go to miss serves.
Max Kelly with a bit of a slow serve, that one. Kind of deceptively slow.
And again, right over that big group of players, which makes it incredibly hard for the passers to read that.
Well, he's quite short compared to some of the others there. Let's see, is he going to go straight or go across the court a bit? Yeah, pretty straight.
That's a nice answer from the Burnside boys. That's good. There is a very simple strategy to solve that problem in terms of the passing. When they're serving right over top of a big group of guys, you stand just to the outside so you can see the server, and then you step in once the ball comes. But we haven't seen anybody really take that on at this stage. It's a little bit technically difficult to do.
Well, that was better, but well picked up. Too big. What's he looking for? A touch? I don't think he got a touch.
No, he didn't get a touch, but he liked it. He was obviously optimistic.
Yeah.
No, I think it's the right answer.
You overhit it.
And slowly but surely the pressure mounts again. Mount Maunganui's gone out to a 5-3 lead this set. Certainly know that Burnside have got some work to do here to get themselves back in the game, but obviously passing has been a problem, but there we have a...
Now, where's the call? Who was calling that? It should have been mine.
Yep. So the guy in the very red shirt, he's the libero. He's a specialist defence player. That's exactly his ball. He should be ranging around the whole court, dealing with all of the little rubbishy stuff that he can pick up, leaving the hitters to go out and do their work.
So if you wanted to call it, you could say they're the rubbish players.
Yeah.
Perhaps not.
Yeah, no, we call them the garbage men. They go
Yeah.
around and pick up the rubbish. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so for anybody who hasn't really seen too much of volleyball, you will quite often, not all the time, see someone in a different jersey or a different uniform, and that's pretty much their job.
They also do the dishes and carry the balls and cook the food and wash the clothes. That's their job.
Yeah.
No, that's not quite
Yeah,
true.
I don't think that would go down too well.
No, that definitely wouldn't go down too well at all.
Let's look for the set. It's coming up. You're going to love that, don't you? As a coach, you're just going to like the way that was executed.
Yeah. You smile when that stuff happens.
It was simple. It's the server as well. Moved up. Basically said, mine. Leave it alone, I'm going to take it. He's got that shield in front of him. Okay. And it's a couple of good points, a couple of easy points.
It's a couple of easy points, and this is the thing, isn't it? Like I said, it's just that constant metronomic pressure. Mount Maunganui really aren't doing anything special other than serving the ball over and letting the Burnside guys, so to speak, make the errors. And in some cases, that's all you need to do.
And, the block, well, it's good to get up for that block. It didn't quite come off though in the end, but it was good to get there.
Yeah, if one thing I know about Burnside over the years of competing against them as well, they're a scrappy team. They don't give up very easily, and so hopefully what we'll do is we'll just see a good sort of continuation of their hard work, if nothing else.
Here they go.
There we go.
They did just that.
Yep, and at 7 points to 7 points to 8, it's just hanging in there. And we haven't seen the Mount Maunganui guys, so to speak, crack yet. And if they lose a little bit of concentration, then we may see Burnside sort of put some real pressure on. There we go.
Yeah.
Nice little run of points.
Not sure what happened between Maunganui and their opponents, but everybody seems happy actually on that court.
Yeah.
So who knows what happened? Everyone's happy. Oh, that was the Seventh-day Adventist team. That is their ASD.
Okay.
Yeah, Auckland Seventh-day Adventist, or maybe they're just
okay.
moving on for the next match. It's a bit hard to tell.
Yes, they're just preparing for the
they're
next
just coming on
match.
for the next match.
Yeah. Yeah, and isn't this great? I mean, this is part of the camaraderie of it, is knowing the people that you play with and against all year. And you turn up at nationals and you're all on the, so to speak, on the same team a little bit.
And the call going to the Mount team there. Almost a bit of jousting up near the net.
And this is one of those dangerous times a little bit for Burnside. They've got themselves back in here and they certainly can't rest. And again, Mount Maunganui are just going to keep on doing their thing.
Just missed it. Didn't quite set himself right.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a, I'll just flick it up.
And also, when you put your head down in the block, you don't get to be able to look up where the ball's going. So, unfortunately, that was more his mistake. Just got to keep his head up and eye on the ball throughout the whole action.
So this is Nixon Panapa just drops in. Nice serve. I think he'll be a little bit relieved at that as well.
Yes, and as I said, they had a 2-point lead, and now they've got a 4-point lead. All of a sudden, they're back out to a nice, comfortable margin. A good decision by their coach, Toby Gardner, to take a break now. There's no need to let this kind of get too far away from them.
As we take that little break, as we said, just a reminder that this is one of New Zealand Secondary Schools Championships here in the Palmerston North at the Palmy venues. And thank you very much to Caltex, Bailey's, New Zealand Cup and Farmer, also Apollo Projects and Maori, and also to Volleyball Manawatu, Sport Manawatu, and Manawatu or Palmerston North Council. Mayor here last night. Very enthusiastic. I guess you've got about, what do you think, Warren, how many students would be here? If we've got 200 teams, you've got about 9 people per team.
So usually this is about between 17 and 1800 kids. It wasn't that long ago that we were the largest secondary school sport in the Southern Hemisphere. We now know that Māori Cup has overtaken that in the grand scheme of things, but
well, we'll say arguably the largest.
Well, I think we are the largest in terms of awesomeness.
Yeah. And it's the 54th tournament as well. 54th tournament. Been going for a little while now.
Yes, indeed, and just probably going back a little way. My first national championship that I played was in 1981. So I've no idea how long ago that was.
Yeah, that's a little way, but
more than the odd grey hair.
Yeah.
But and even back then, it was just the most exciting thing to attend. It was the absolute highlight on the calendar.
Here we go. Get set. Nice blocking, and this time, no. So we had one of the Burnside players.
Unfortunately touching the net, that's what I wasn't quite sure that he had. And of course here we are, 14 points to 8. Mount Maunganui now have taken quite the lead, which means that unfortunately the Burnside's guys there, I suppose their concentration has just dropped a little bit. And whilst that concentration drop's happening, Mount Maunganui have just carried on doing their thing.
Picked it up nicely, here we go. Again.
It was a good idea from the setter, but I think he was trying to play like he was meant to be an adult, and that didn't quite work out the way he thought it might. Good in theory.
Who's got the serve now? Number 72, James Barker. Low. That's the one. That's what he's been looking for.
That's it, yeah. They've got a little bit of free air now, so they can start playing a few combination balls. That just shows that Mount Maunganui are, so to speak, full of confidence and are comfortable to take a few risks, whereas Burnside really are struggling with just the simple things, particularly around their concentration at the moment. But, like I said, they're a scrappy team. They don't give up easily. So I'm expecting that good things will continue to happen. Just like that.
Yeah.
Beautiful swing.
And one of the top 4 courts has been completed for the day. Everybody's on their last match. Court 1 is probably the slowest one. And in the meantime, we get ready here for Burnside serving. Ryan Huang. And whose was that? Yep.
That's Burnside. Thomas Bessie making a smart move there, just pushing into the block instead of trying to hit through it once he realised he couldn't really have a good swing at the ball.
Now we may have a slightly different score. We've got, 15-11 rather than 16-10. And straight into the net, so maybe a couple points.
Yeah, it's just a couple of wayward points now by Mount Maunganui. And I would suspect that if they lose another one, Brendan Ray will probably call a quick timeout. He hasn't used the timeout yet, so he's got 2 during the set. And he'll probably just also want to get them back a little bit on track, give them a breather.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a nice hit.
That one.
Nice hit by Thomas Vesti. There we have it, and timeout being called.
Yeah, as you predicted.
As per prediction, yes. Yeah, these are very easy games to administer in some ways. You can see through the sort of psychological flow of a point and rallies how things are unfolding. It's quite easy to see in that respect. And yep, Burnside are on the climb a little bit. They've got themselves from a 6-point deficit back to a 2-point deficit, which means they're on the right track. Mount Maunganui just need to calm the farm a little bit, get back to what they were doing well. Find that rhythm again, and Burnside know that they have to be a little bit desperate and a little bit more aggressive, and they've just started doing that, much to their, to a positive effect. So can Burnside now start to take advantage of this enough to put pressure on Mount Maunganui to make mistakes?
All right, Warren.
Good question, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Here's a question for you. Greatest New Zealand players.
Greatest
Seniors.
Greatest New Zealand players.
Yeah, who's been the greatest couple of players for New Zealand, do you think?
Oh, that's a great question. If I think across the generations that I remember, so from the probably the early 1990s onwards,
Right.
I would say our premier volleyball player would be a young fellow named Ben O'Day.
Yep. Ben.
He was able to play both indoor and beach at an extremely high level. It's not often that you get the combination of both.
Well, the O'Day family.
As a general rule, we're pretty freakish, that's right. But Ben, like I said, Ben crossed over both indoor and beach, and so for me, that's a big tick. There have been some exceptional indoor players over that time. One player that it was certainly not a household name is a young man named Nick Maber. He played professionally in Germany, and in one of the series against Australia, basically had Australia almost single-handedly on the ropes. So he was that good. Unfortunately, a lot of these names sort of they go to history because it's only people who are relevant at the time. But certainly.
They're going to serve and it keeps Burnside in it. It's to 1 point actually.
Yeah, back down to 1 point, 15 points to 16. So yeah, it's a tough question really. We've had a lot of very talented, very good players come through over the years.
Just tips the net. Here we go. Let's look up for this. Fortunate. And out to 2.
But thankfully for Burnside, that's the first real sort of probably avoidable error that's been for the last 4 or 5 points. So the idea now is they've just got to stick to it, keep being aggressive, and maybe trying to put Mount Maunganui under pressure. This is where they got themselves into trouble last time with their passing. This time they've done that well, but then the rest of it's a little bit unfolded. Unfortunately, this is where Burnside are just all of a sudden they realise they're back in it, and unfortunately the mindset's changed.
We're discussing with Bjorn the vital points. Like in beach, 18 all, it's a very vital point.
Yep.
What about with indoor? Would you call it 20 all maybe? Or is there a particular stage that you think is the most vital?
There's definitely some really important stages, and this middle stage now I think is important for the team who can gather the lead. If you can get a 3 or 4 point buffer, inevitably once you get over 22, if you're 22 all, from that point on every point's important.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying about beach, where 18 all, whoever wins that next point, that's the big point.
Yeah, and that's the same with at 22 with indoor. Most teams from that point on, they go into a very, very simple dig, set, hit type of game with a lot of power and a lot of aggression. And it's usually who can get 23-22 first, and then you just ride it out from there.
Okay, so a little bit of a push away from the body. Isn't the best, and fortunate for Mount Maunganui. Oh, yeah.
And you can see Brendan Ray is talking with his libero. He's clearly worked out something. The libero pointed at his coach saying yes as that point was won. And all of a sudden Mount Maunganui out to a 4 point lead. This is again that sort of point now where they've got enough of a lead to put a little bit more pressure on, which is exactly what they've done.
Here we go. Wait for it.
And there we have it.
Loving it. You should be happy with that. It looked good, sounded good. It was set up well.
And you can take that risk. You can swing. We can swing that hard when you've got a 4 point advantage. If it's 22 all, you might think twice.
Yeah. You'd probably be a bit safer.
Yeah, a little bit safer in what you're doing. Probably a little bit more tentative.
And pushes that one a bit long.
But it was a good aggressive serve from Mount Maunganui, and they knew they had to serve that way if they want to keep racking up those points. So now, of course, we've got Thomas Vesti on serve. So before I gave him great props about his serving ability, and at 17-21, now's the time. Thomas.
You can see the set plan. He was ready over there waiting.
Yep, everything was dedicated to that situation. Absolutely. Yep.
And now he gets to serve, does Hapoi.
And at 22-17, again, I think that Mount Maunganui are just going to basically eke their way through this. They're not going to have to do a lot to change things. It'll just be what we call a side-out game from here on in.
Hugo Fang with the serve. Well played, keeps it going, and
ooh, that was pretty close.
yeah.
But yep, they had a swing at it.
How would someone like Hapoi, how would he go in the adult world if he started playing?
At this stage,
Yeah.
he would get massacred.
Right.
It is good for what he's doing in the simplistic type of format here. But unfortunately, once you get into the high level of the men's game, just the sort of the variation in thinking, the way that they are thinking about how points are constructed, very quickly they'd work out what he's good at, and then like
they'd sort of pick on him. Pick on him in the way of knowing his game and knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Now that came off Burnside, so it's a point there to the Mount.
23-20.
23-20.
Indeed. Yeah, so the thing is, you've got to put him into those situations with the men's where he would have to sort of, so to speak, you
but
throw
he's
him in the water.
potentially got game.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, absolutely, no doubt. And just like every athlete, the more rounded you become, the more problematic you are. And so at this stage, he's just hitting the ball hard. And as he gets older and finds that you need more variation in your attacking ability, he will learn those skills. And then when you're 6'6" or 6'7", it becomes highly problematic. And 21-23, Burnside now do have a chance to get themselves back in this if they can win this next point.
That was well done because they switched it up.
Yeah,
Everyone was thinking, is it going to be Hapoi coming up?
Yep.
Instead, no, we had number 1 coming through, Max Kelly.
And also they were centering very much on their thoughts on the outside hitter, number 4, because they were thinking he's going to be the guy that they want to be able to kill the ball. But good setting by the Mount Maunganui setter, just changing that tactic altogether.
Well, to bring in Max Kelly sort of out of nowhere, who hasn't been their big pinch hitter.
That's it.
Just bring him in,
Yep.
set him up. So I think that was well done. Just a few directions. It looks as though Burnside, well, they're all ready to go back on straight away almost. But one of their players does have a bit of a injured arm. It's
it's quite a good injury too, by the look of it.
yeah, James Barker McMillan, by the looks of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, it's a goodie. Anyway, it's set point for Mount Maunganui. Nice easy serve in. A good save by Thomas Vesti on the set, and yeah, unfortunately nobody knew what was going on, so Burnside won the point. Right, 22-24.
Worked out in the end.
It worked out in the end. So here's the Hail Mary.
There's Hugo Fang.
He's got to do something a little bit special with this serve. He certainly can't be conservative about it, because if he is, then trouble is going to arise very quickly. Nice flat serve on the libero. That's good. Okay, so they've got themselves in a good spot here. Vesti's the guy, and he swings a nice hard hit across court. Beautiful. 23-24. Mount Maunganui now still got one side out to go before they start to get under pressure. And Brendan Ray has called a timeout.
Yes, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and that timeout's all about getting that server, giving him 30 seconds to think about think about what happens next. BR will set up a nice little template of an attacking plan. Boys will carry that out as they do. The Burnside guys, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to put the pressure on, and there's no better time to step up into that space. You've just got to give it a crack, because anything less than that, it's not going to work.
What about Warren when you're playing so late? I mean, tonight so far hasn't been, but when youngsters, teenagers play really late and then have to come back the next day.
Yeah.
What do you do with that as a coach?
It's thankfully what they've worked out here is that they've got a morning session and an afternoon session. And so if you're in the afternoon session, then you're in the afternoon sessions until the playoffs. So There we go, unfortunately.
That's not a good one. And it is a 25-23. The second set goes to Mount.
And that I can guarantee Brendan Ray is just smiling a little bit there, calling a timeout, giving the young fella a bit of a thought process which did not go well for him.
And we're going to come back in the third in just a moment. And coming back on for this, the third set. And can Mount Maunganui make it a 3-set and win this one against Burnside? Warren Smith, what do you think?
Well, this is always a difficult one because
it's a tough question. What are the lotto numbers as well?
It is, yeah, there's a little bit because Mount Maunganui have now got the problem that they've won 2 sets. They can afford to have a little bit of a break. It's the worst possible outcome for them if they do, because that sometimes gives energy enough to the opposition team. But Burnside, again, they're making the smaller fundamental errors that I'm pretty sure a team that of the quality of the Mount Maunganui kids, they probably won't let them off the hook, I wouldn't imagine.
Okay, looks as though we're ready to roll. And we are. We are just looking around. Where is that ball? No, we have got it. They were hiding it. The duty team was just hiding it.
Cleaning it, we would like to think.
Exactly.
2 years ago, we were disinfecting them.
Yeah, pretty much.
These days, we just clean them.
And that one pushed too long. Not a great way to start the third. The Mount team are very happy, and Carter Hopaway about to serve.
Yeah, and I think that the one thing I haven't noticed from the Burnside team, I'm not sure that they've got another gear. They play well for what they're doing and the way they play.
Oh, went on the outside of the aerial.
The outside, and of course already 2 points to 0 down. Mount Maunganui again, metronomically just going about their business.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like I said, Burnside really do need to go up another notch if they're going to have a chance here. It's definitely not over, but there's work to be done.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a great block.
Yeah, good positioning, had the timing of the leap perfect.
And that's when the setter, like for example Mount Maunganui, that's the problem. If they get a little bit complacent and they slow things down a little bit, that just gives Burnside.
That's 2 service errors though to start for Burnside.
Yeah. So if they get too complacent, then it does become problematic, because then the other team who's not quite fast enough can all of a sudden be fast enough and read the game better. So it's up to Mount Maunganui to keep the pressure on, as they have done up till now. And so, like I said, it's up to Burnside to take the game to Mount Maunganui.
Oh, that was a bit of a wild hit there from Joshua. Wild shot. It's nice to hit things hard, but you've also got to have a little bit of aim.
Yes, a little. Yes, getting it in the stadium is not good enough.
Yeah,
that's right. And 4 points to 1, Mount Maunganui already sort of climbing ahead. And again, same strategies we saw in the previous 2 sets, causing exactly the same issues.
Too big.
And unfortunately, again, too big. And very, very quickly, 5-1 down. Burnside find themselves already in a spot of bother.
This is Nixon Panapa. Nothing special in that.
No,
saw the gap.
Yep, and also you can see again the Mount Maunganui guys are all standing over to that left-hand side, hands up, making it incredibly difficult for the passers on the other team to see what's happening.
Have we got a timeout? Yes, that one would be called by Burnside.
Toby's just going, hey boys, we need to refocus here. It's not okay to sort of drop your shoulders, drop your heads. You've got to get out there and carry on the business. It's no terminal damage to a loss, but it is very difficult sometimes to regain that composure and confidence if you let yourself fall in a bit of a rut. And so I know Brendan Ray down here, he'll be telling his boys, just keep the pressure on, lads. Just keep doing what you're doing. Nothing special, just wait for Burnside to make the errors.
Nixon Panapa with the serve again, going straight.
Yep, same guy, same result.
Couldn't quite pull that one up. Nice angle.
Nice shot by Thomas Vest. He got himself in behind the ball, stepped back and then gave it a good crack, which is good. That's what we want to see.
And who's serving now? One of their key servers is Hugo Fang. Where's he going to put this one? And up. Well done. But just pulling it down on his own side. And nice lead. 5 points, 6 points.
Yeah, we're at a 5-point lead at this stage. And although Burnside have stabilised, that initial run of points is now costing them. It's going to be very difficult for them to get themselves back in the match.
Oh, Kingston Harris serving there, and it went out pretty wide. There's no way he could have brought it back on that angle. Would have been, well, fairly difficult.
It would have been tough, yeah.
It's a great angle.
It's a great angle.
Yeah.
Yep. No harm in that. Unfortunately, it's got across the net for it to win.
Yeah, I was thinking, did he get that? No, he couldn't have got that.
He stayed rather cool for if he had.
Yeah. Well, keeping it up, and too far.
Too far. Okay, so let's just think about, I suppose, the end result for each of these teams. Burnside, if they lose this game now, they'll be going back into the second division for the rest of the tournament. Right. They'll have had 2 losses from their 2 games today.
And for the Mount?
For the Mount, this will be their second win of the day.
Yeah.
And on that, they'll be definitely going into the first division and then into new pools as of tomorrow. One of the lovely things about this system is that everybody comes back into this fresh each year. You get another shot at it, and you can make your way back into the first division simply by turning up and having a good crack at it.
Well, this is something that was mentioned about. Should there be like basketball where you have the playoffs to get into the main nationals? Now there is a bit of that already.
Yep.
But then, do you want to have it so it's so exclusive?
Yeah, no, you don't.
Exactly. Yeah.
The reality is there's 198 teams here, and that's an awful lot of kids in the sandpit, and it's the highlight of the sporting calendar for all volleyball players, and there's nothing more exciting, more fun to be involved in than being at the national championships. And
even if you are Division
5, it goes to Division 5,
possibly out at Massey at the moment, or wherever you might be. But even if you're Division 5, and maybe you finish a little bit earlier, you can still come through and support a school that you like or don't like or whatever.
Or just see the greatest volleyball that you'll see.
Yeah.
A lot of those Division 5 schools come from places where volleyball is not the most popular sport.
Oh, that's a nice one there from Vesti. Was that Vesti? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was, yeah. And so from that respect, it's like, wow, this is our game. I love it.
So you'd want to keep it as open as possible.
Yep, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, the cream does rise to the top. Yep. The system is designed to allow that to occur. There's a democratic opportunity towards that, so that's fine. turn up, compete, have your crack.
There's the other factor for it as well. And this is sometimes forgotten. Look at that great shot there from Hopeway. He's happy with that. But the social aspect of it. Now, sometimes people think, oh, we don't want them all, just partying. It's not about that.
Yes, it is. Completely.
Well, I mean, not about that for the organisers, but it's socially, it's good for people. It is actually good.
Yep, absolutely it is. And this is the thing, is that our sport is something that it's open. It doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. It doesn't matter how many dollars you've got in the bank. It doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy. It's all here. And
he has kept it in. No, yes, he has somehow from beyond the chairs almost. Oh, and the block, and somehow that turns around to Burnside.
Yep, that was a great rally to stay in there. It's a scrappy Burnside that I know.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you've got a game where all of those things come together, it's such a great atmosphere. It's such one of the absolute wonderful things about our sport is that unfortunately this year there is no social, but normally when you go to the social on the last night and you see literally 1,800 teenagers just having an absolute blast, it's really is heartwarming.
Well, that is part of the maturity. It's how you become an adult, sometimes better than an adult. It's how you understand about other people and go, hey, well, how often is Burnside or Christ College going to hang out with Mandarila?
Correct.
It's not going to happen.
It's never happened. And that's where those exclusive events start to become problematic, in my opinion, because everybody then just becomes very insular.
Yeah.
I have to focus on my team and my program and my project in that event. And then actually here, yes, we all do that, but we do that in a spirit of hanging out. All of the coaches know each other. We're all always having a bit of a chin wag. Kids are in representative teams together. They're always hanging out together. And back in my day, Burnside and Kashmir, the team that I used to coach, and the Burnside kids, they were just the best of mates.
Yeah.
And this is great. It's exactly how you want things to be.
Pushes that one too far, so a little bit of a mistake. Coming back in, Burnside slightly. Still, 6 points away. The gap, 6.
So yes, Burnside definitely got a mountain to climb here. And Mount Maunganui again, just metronomically ticking along.
Pulling it in, it's in.
Yep. Big fella hit a nice high ball there.
And he now gets to serve as well. Hopeway.
Let's just hope that in 2 years' time we still see him playing volleyball.
Yeah, that's the hard thing.
That's the hard thing. Is
for a lot of sports, basketball and volleyball, very similar in that they have huge followings, particularly in schools.
Yeah.
What it comes down to there is being able to have a club structure where if he feels that he's not the best player, albeit that he is in this team possibly, that he can still play volleyball or basketball in the case. And
that's it. And this is where real kaumātua for our sport and Brendan Ray Horlock, he's the guy who will keep working with these kids once they leave school. He's a connector into the community far more than he is just a high school coach. And the amount of kids that he's taken through international programs that have gone on to do great things in volleyball, it's incredible really, and it's all because it's not over when he's finished with them at school.
Who did that come off? Did it come off anybody?
It did touch a block. Unfortunately, they're calling that it was the block. I thought that might have come off the hitter's hand actually, but anyway, nobody seems to be disagreeing too heavily.
18 should be the scoreline now. 18-9, is it? Should be, possibly. Maybe.
The decision's been made, and so again here we have the Mount kids in their line on that side.
There we go. It's a couple that we've seen now. Panapa just dropping that.
Sometimes when obviously the Burnside kids disagree with that call before, and then the ball gets served in the net, and they say, well, the ball knows. Well, as we slowly but surely head towards the end of our evening, 17 points to 10.
And who's going to take it? There we go. Somehow they stay in it. Need to be a bit more calling going on.
That's a nice block from our Burnside compatriot. 11 points to 17. It's another one they've clawed back. And as you can see, Brendan Ray has just called a bit of a timeout just to say, hey, boys, let's
Good timing.
let's get the character of the team back together again. What we don't want is sloppiness. I'm sure that would certainly be the message I'd be giving them. We stay with the system because it works, and you guys have got a job to do. And the Burnside guys will be just going, yep, let's just keep rolling through it. Let's just try and take our points when we can.
And Burnside team ready to line up and get back on the court. And here come the Mount team. Straight on. And let's have a look at that Mount team. Keep it with their sort of regulars of Frew and also Hopaway. They're the two main players who are sticking around the whole game. Here we go. Too big. Or did it come off some hands? I'm not sure of the call just yet.
Yeah, it's touch on the blocks been called. That's good sportsmanlike behaviour. Sometimes you just got to admit it when it happens.
Yeah. Kingston Harris now with the serve. And the regular format, the regular positioning that we're seeing.
Yep.
Nice and low. There we go. Oh. Yep, no one there. And keeping it relatively tight, albeit 7 points. They're just hanging in there like, as far as the Mount players will be, will you just go away?
And the Burnside guys really don't have an answer. The Mount guys are just, like I said, metronomically just rolling through this. Burnside, obviously, they've got to do more if they want things to go well, and that forces that kind of pressure there where he's just trying to do something a little bit above his pay scale, so to speak, in terms of his technical skill, because he has to. Now, of course, again, we're back to that 7-point lead for Mount Maunganui, and this will just slowly but surely work its way into the end of the game, I would suggest.
They set that one up nicely. That was well done.
Yep, beautifully well done. For both teams, there's a bit of not an easier day tomorrow, but the first game of the day, Burnside can't make it into the top division now. Mount Maunganui are already in the top division, so there's no big playoff to try and scratch their way into that second place, which will make the first game of the day a little bit easier. Second game, they're back into their playoff pools, and that's when things will start to get a little bit niggly again.
So what would be your way, if we're not going to adjust the scores from 25 to 21 or whatever, what would be your way of speeding up the game a little bit?
There was a suggestion made, I quite like this, this suggestion was made in the early 2000s where you would go to actually having basically like a little bit like squash, having mini games and then having a break in the middle and then playing another mini game with a golden set at the end. And that looked quite good in terms of the structure of it if we were thinking about the entertainment package. If we were thinking about trying to just speed up the game, it's simple. You make these best of 3 sets, not best of 5. And that way you only have to win 2 sets, not 3.
What about, here's one of the things that happens in tennis, it's like start the game. Warm-ups should be done almost beforehand. Start the game at the game time.
Yep. In terms of TV coverage, I know that already certainly happens on the Nations League for the volleyball. But overall, I think,
Could you make the change of ends a little bit shorter? Would it matter?
Yeah, I think you could actually. You could do.
So at the moment, the timing of the change of ends.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes. Yeah.
Why not make it 90 seconds?
Yes.
I mean, people go, well, that's only 30 seconds you're saving. Actually, it's not. You take 5. It's just about the little things that actually speed up.
And we've always traditionally changed sides because of the lighting conditions in a gym. So there's no way if you can get away from that. Inevitably, what they'll do is, I don't know that they will speed up the game. I think, like I said, they'll spend more time and effort in entertainment and things that are around the package.
Let's just check on that score sheet now. Well, clicking over 22-16, and here we go. Hopaway from the back, the big man, as Mount Maunganui look pretty good to wrap this up in straight against Burnside.
Yep, who just haven't been able to fire a shot today.
Ducked under that. Long way to duck too.
They just haven't been able to fire a shot, Burnside boys, which is pretty unfortunate for them. But at the same time, they didn't have quite the best season in Christchurch this year either. So this is probably a little bit reflective of that this is not going to be their year to really struggle, really to fight it out with the big boys. But a good rally now.
And to the side. So that takes us to a match point. 24-16 after winning the first 25-20 and the second 25-23. Here we go with the mount. Hopoi with the serve. Finishes it off with a big
great way to finish.
And there it is, it wraps it up. And Warren Smith, a bit of a summary from you about how Mount Maunganui wrapped it up.
Yeah, that was a great game from them. Really tidy. They didn't have to extend themselves. Like I said, Burnside gave them all of the ammunition they needed. So I'm really interested to see how far Mount Maunganui can push this. Obviously, with the big man down there, he's going to be causing quite a lot of havoc around the place in the next couple of days. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Mount Maunganui actually go this year.
All right, well, a 3-set win for Mount Maunganui. We'll be coming back with with play starting from 8 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you very much for day one.
Let's go. Ain't nobody stopping me.
Summer Tournament 2024 on Māori Active. Find us on YouTube.
Get your haka fix 24/7. Download the Māori Plus app now.
The important thing for me is the wairu of the land and the whakapapa of the land.
No mai and welcome to Sydney Karemals.
Takatapui Pride is on display
To celebrate 50 years of World Gay Pride
and rising up.
A lot of my career has been finding glass ceilings to break through.
Queer in Here Season 2, Ki Whakaata Māori, Me Māori Plus.
With a lot of Māori coming home, they all wanted to do something with their land.
I had a meeting with my children. I says, right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to turn this block into macadamia. The important thing for me is the wairu of the land, the whakapapa of the land. Look after your land, and who better to look after the land than yourselves?
Homeland and Sea, Ki Whakaata Māori, Me Māori Plus. He toa hou. He pakanga hou. Ariki Season 3, Ki Whakaata Māori, Me Māori Plus. Their tupuna had the vision.
This is where we want to be.
Now innovation will shape their future.
Things that we need is just connecting with one another. And that's what Papakainga brings.
Whānau are turning their dream.
It's intergenerational housing.
Into reality.
Within 15 years, they could be living mortgage-free.
We're not just building houses, no, we're building dreams.
Kāinga whenua, Ki Whakaata Māori, Me Māori Plus.
Takatapui Pride
No mai and welcome to Sydney Karemals
is out to play
to celebrate 50 years of World Gay Pride.
Rising above.
A lot of my career has been finding glass ceilings to break through, but I'm tough.
And learning through aroha.
I can't imagine an equitable Aotearoa without Te Ao Māori and without the voices of Takatapui and trans people.
Queer in Here Season 2, Ki Whakaata Māori, Me Māori Plus.
I was about 11. I probably planted my first tree.
You know, I got this connection with the place. It's home.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
This isn't about long-distance calling, technology, or living overseas.
Do I have one more bid? Thank you.
We're going to go once. We're going twice.
And we are sold to the Kiwi phone bidder from Manchester.
It's about Bailey's finding buyers that others can't.
Hey. Sport is about more than just the game. It's about going from teammates to best mates. It's the high fives and helping hands. It's learning when to back yourself or back your buddies. It's actually being excited to get out of bed early on a Saturday. Sport is about more than just the game. That's why Caltex is proud to help fuel school sports.
Funding is a real challenge. We know that a lot of schools face that ongoing, and the reality is if you go to a lower decile school in New Zealand, you are less likely to be able to afford to participate in sport.
Obviously, having come through it myself with kids and being one of those kids myself who played sport, I know how much it defined who I was. And now being able to go, I can't fix it all, but we can help and try and give to those people who are going through tough times. It's a real privilege, but you know, for us, we want to see others get involved in this. This is not a selfish thing for Apollo. This is about how can we get, whether it's construction or other businesses, to get involved in this.
There's a lot of things that kids miss out on, and so to have businesses step up and want to be involved and to help is a game changer for schools. It really is.
Global warming is incredibly serious. We need to cut emissions, but we need to also absorb carbon out of the atmosphere. Growing trees is the only tool we have in the toolbox for taking carbon out of the atmosphere that we can do at scale. Pinus radiata takes carbon out of the atmosphere at about 5 to 10 times the rate of native planting. And so what New Zealand Carbon Farming are doing is planting the Pinus radiata to absorb the carbon, and then they're transitioning that forest into native forest so that we get the biodiversity benefit.
This is an opportunity that we can't pass on.